Hi, I'm Dana Brawer, and I'm the director of the new short film Signing Out, written by Adriana Leonard and Jenna Michnow. The film is about two women who still haven't recovered from the end of their romantic relationship with each other, and they unknowingly find themselves in the same therapist's office years later and are forced to come to terms with what happened. So I'm here today to talk to you about the camera that we used to get the look that we wanted for this film. And we're also in the midst of an epic crowdfunding campaign. It ends on June 7th, 2016. So if you see something in this video that tickles you, I encourage you to check out the campaign in the link below. So for the look of this film, Madeline Berger, our DP, and I talked a lot about really making sure that the two segments of the film, the past versus the present being what's in the therapy room, past being the flashbacks, we wanted to make sure that they felt different, but they still felt like they were part of the same story. So Madeline and I worked on making sure that the scenes in the therapy office, present day, were more sterile, clean, less contrast, less saturation, and when we did have camera movement, we put it on a dolly, so the movement was very controlled. Whereas the flashbacks, the memories, when these girls are remembering the happy times in their relationship, there's a lot of movement. We shot handheld, we also shot Ronin, and there was a lot more saturation, higher contrast, and just generally more vibrant. So for this project, Madeline and I decided to shoot Red Dragon. Madeline is an Alexa girl, but unfortunately the budget couldn't afford Alexa, so a lot of the decisions that we made for this were based on budget. The camera that Madeline and I decided to go with for this was the Red Dragon. The Red Dragon, compared to other Reds, handles skin tones better, and it's also pretty light, so it was light enough to go on a Ronin and be used handheld without anybody's back breaking. The large sensor also allows you to shoot at a high resolution and then downsize to reduce noise, which leads me into some of the weaknesses of shooting Red. Red cameras are noisy. Also, if you shoot at a low ISO, lower than native, it actually affects your exposure curve, so it can make the highlights fly off out of nowhere. So to remedy this, Madeline and our awesome camera team, they shot at the skin tones, highlight, OLPF, around 400 ISO, which allowed them to control the highlights a little bit more and keep them a bit more contained. It's not perfect. I know Madeline has some words to say about this issue, but ultimately it does not impact the look of our film at all, and I'm still very happy with the look that we have. So in addition to shooting on the Red Dragon, we actually used ZF prime lenses for this, which was not our original intention. Madeline and I were really committed to shooting on super speeds if we could afford it, and we found this share grid listing for Red Dragon, 5 super speed lenses. The package also had wireless video village, lots of monitors, an easy rig, and many other components that would have been very expensive to rent independently. But our prep day, originally scheduled for a few days before the shoot, had to be pushed back to the day before the shoot, and when Madeline and the team got there, the super speeds that were advertised in the listing were actually ZF primes. So at that point, we didn't have the time or the money to go find something else. That's what we had. So the downside to shooting on these lenses is that ZF primes are still lenses, and it can affect the way you pull focus. That being said, our first AC, Edward Bellamy, very talented guy, he was able to make it work, and so was Madeline and the rest of the camera team. But despite it not being exactly what we wanted, I'm still very happy with the look of the film. Madeline is too. Maybe it would have been better if we had super speeds, maybe not. It's always in filmmakers' heads, if I had this light, if I had this camera, maybe it would be better. But this film, Signing Out, really is a testament to the power of independent filmmaking and the less is more concept. We really were only able to rent exactly what we needed. So it forced Madeline and her team to really only use lights and equipment if we needed it. And for this project, that helped us get the look that we wanted. Again, we wanted it to feel very real. We didn't want to glamorize the flashbacks or the memories at all. We wanted everything to feel very true. And because we didn't have a lot of lights, it feels that way. It doesn't feel like a big studio production. It feels more intimate. So ultimately, even though with more money, maybe we would have rented more lights, had an HMI on set. The fact that we didn't have a ton of lights helped us actually maybe get closer to the look that we wanted. Thank you so much for watching. If anything in this video connected with you, I encourage you to check out our Seed and Spark campaign. This is a socially relevant story. We were committed to telling a story about queerness, about an LGBTQ storyline that wasn't really about that. At the end, signing out is just a love story. And we thought that by portraying an LGBTQ story in a more mainstream, in a more commercial way, we could help change the conversation about LGBTQ politics away from otherness and really help people to see that love is love and that relationships are just relationships. So again, if that's something that you want to support, check out our Seed and Spark campaign.